Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to Behringer. And today is something a little bit different. I'm just going to present to you a little mini series in terms of I've got some work to do on the railway at the Behringer station site, and I thought I'd kind of go through with you some of the techniques that I've used, and in case it sort of helps anybody, or just gives generally ideas on how to maybe go about doing your own station. And I'll take you to where the work's going to be, and then we'll sort of take it from there, and I'll explain to you a bit more as to what we're going to do. So I'm just going to walk down to this end at the moment. So this is the area in question that I'm going to be working on next. From this fascia back to this fascia here. One of the jobs that I've been sort of tackling today is basically I've been doing the putting the backing on the brickwork onto here, onto platform 4, and as you can see by the sort of shiny finish on the platform, I've just repainted the platform here. Now the platform's made out of ply, and the paint that I've used is this Rail Match, and it is a BR Early Rail Freight Grey. Come on, focus on me. I think that's come up. And to me, it's a really nice colour for platforms, and it's a nice grey. It doesn't seem to be too dark, and it seems pretty, yeah, I like the look of it on the station. I think it works out really, really well. And so I'm in the process of currently sort of building a canopy, and I'm also going to make a couple of buildings. So I just thought I'd sort of share with you where we're at and what I'm going to be doing, and the various methods and things that I've used. Now, the early part of Behringer is here. It's basically this building here, this sort of section here. And the roof, obviously, as you guys know, the canopy has been done recently, but the actual building is still the original Behringer Island building. And basically I'm going to be replicating that, and probably that building there, to go on platforms 3 and 4, which are this one here. Now the idea is, and this is where sort of planning comes into it a little bit, basically it's quite a big curved platform, and it's not going to be as straightforward to light this big curved platform as it is to light up this straight canopy, as you can see. That's just literally just a row all the way down, lit up from left to right. So that's kind of fairly simple, and even the ones on the other side. But the curved ones are always the ones that are more problematic. Now on platform 5, which is that one down the end there is a curve in it, but it's not too deep, and so it's been lit up at the right angle, so it's pretty much a straight line all the way around. So that's not really a problem, but the problem is going to be this one. Now this is why I'm going to be building the 2 platform buildings, because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing exactly the same as what I've done here. To light up platforms 3 and 4, I'm going to be putting the lighting within the buildings themselves. So they're just protruding out through the buildings, and then that will light the platform without me having to light up the canopy. And then what I'll do then is the buildings will go on the curved bits, and then on this straight bit will just be left blank, and then what I'll do is I'll put a connecting light bar like I've made previous to connect from the fascia to the building, and then this little bit here will be lit up through the light bar in the conventional sense. So that way we should have lighting all the way around platform 3 and 4. So that's one of the considerations that I'm having to do. One of the other ones is my little cube, which is I use a lot for filming at the moment. It's probably more like my number one sort of camera that I do use for filming. So obviously I'm having to sort of make sure that wherever I put these buildings that my cube has got enough sufficient space to get around, so I can get some good camera angles and camera shots. I just kind of think the more that you put onto the platform and stuff like that, and you get some more interesting shots. Just for example, you can get something like this, which is quite interesting. You get to see the fascia, you get to see the building just behind, or you can look at it from the other side and you've got the canopy, and that looks quite interesting. But obviously you need to be able to put the cube somewhere, so you obviously have to take that into consideration, or I am anyway, when doing these things, to try and get some interesting camera shots. Now since we're here, I'm not quite sure if I've shown you this during the day now. I know I did the nighttime running session on it, so thank you for all your comments on that. But I'm not sure if I showed it to you in this way in the light. So as you can see, I've done this top bit here, and that kind of marries up with the one that's on the other side. And I've also put a window up there, and we've now lit up the two canopies here and here, as well as the main one over here. And now I've added a little bit of signage just here. So now we're at the point where we've just got to link up that end bit to the rest of the station building. So it's just this middle bit really left to sort of tackle. So that's kind of the next jobs to do, really. Whilst I'm here, I will show you, I've added this little bit of plywood along here, because there is a slight height difference between this and the end where it goes into the fiddle yard, and it's slightly lower. So in order to make the gradient less steep and make sure that the trains run better, then I've added this piece, which works really well. So once I've sort of ballasted it and everything, it'll be fine. Something else I'd added along this end is this board here. Also, and what I plan to do with this bit here is I'm planning to line it up with some trees and stuff like that, and have some trees probably overhanging the entrance, just to sort of disguise it a little bit better. But this is just like a preliminary base kind of thing. If we move into the fiddle yard area, what I've done now is I've added a bit of lighting here as well, and I've added it to a dimmer switch. So if I just sort of switch this on, you can adjust the brightness all the way through. So that's on its max setting now. What I plan on doing, because it's always been a bit of a dingy corner around here, sometimes I've had to work in here and make some adjustments. It's always been a bit tricky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another strip lighting, and I'm going to work that all the way around, back to this way and around here, and then that should light up the whole lot. It's something that got highlighted to me when I did my nighttime running session the other day. That I was finding it I didn't really want to switch the light on here in the corridor, because it would then kind of ruin the effect of what I had going on in the station. But I just wanted enough of the lighting in here that you can actually sort of still see what you are doing, and I was finding it quite difficult to sort of see what I was doing without having to have this main light switched on. So I decided that I had this strip that I bought from eBay, and that seemed to work out really well. However, it doesn't seem to stick very well. So it's something that I'm going to sort of, I've added some tape up the top, but even that isn't sticking properly, so I'm going to probably have to redo that again. But it is the right thing. It does work really, really well, and it's nice that I can just attach it to the dimmer switch and just tone it down, and then depending on what time of day, you can either have it slightly on or slightly off. So that kind of works out really, really nicely. So here we are back to the station, and I originally started building this, I think it was back in 2009, and this particular station, platform building I should say, has been on the layout pretty much ever since. But I just wanted to have a quick chat with you. Originally it had some different canopy on it, and that canopy, as you know, was like a wing shaped design. and it had basically this kind of awning effect on it. So I thought I'd show it to you just in case some of you are interested in it. It had this kind of like awning effect, and you could just, like what I did is just put it on the end there like that, and that's how I used it on the other one. And this is like a ratio thing, and you get it in strips and things. And you've also got some station name boards and things like that if you wanted to use that. Also, when I originally started thinking about doing the platforms, the platform here is they're plywood, and when I started originally doing the platform ends here, I was originally going to use the Pico stuff, and it's very, very effective. It's really, really nice to look at, and when it's done it looks really, really good. However, because of the length of the platform, they can work out quite expensive for what you get. So you only get like a small pack, and it really doesn't really go a long way, to be honest. So when I started doing the maths, it worked out that it was going to be a bit, I found it's going to be a bit too expensive, and especially now I've extended it. So one of the other options that I started off in the early days was to use matchsticks, and that's what these are. These are still the original matchsticks from back in 2009 that's still stuck here. This is actually still the original plastic card, but it's been repainted. One of my subscribers asked me about my plastic card, and basically I got it from my local model shop, which is the Auto Model Centre. I think it might be Slater's, but I can't be too sure. He's actually closed today, but when I find out, I'll give you see if I can give you a precise supplier for that. So yeah, so I decided to go down this road, but what I then found that as soon as you wanted to get around corners, it was getting a bit tricky to do the matchsticks. I mean, you could still do it, but it was a bit more tricky. So I then went down this other route, which is basically this side of it, and this side is basically a stripper card, and that stripper card is basically very, very easy to manipulate, so you can get it around curves and corners and things like that. And as you can see, as you go around, it gets around the corners really, really easily. So I use some Yoo-Hoo, put it on the side of that, and that works out extremely, extremely well. And then to fill in any gaps, I just used a bit of filler, and that filled in the gaps. And then after, I painted it with the early Ralph Lauren grey. So that's what I've done with that. So that's pretty much in terms of an update and a base of what I've done to the station. And like I said, over the next probably, I don't know, probably a week maybe, it will start to come together, hopefully, because like I said, I'm just trying to work out the ins and outs. I mean, on this first platform here, platform 1 and 2, there won't be any buildings on here at all. But there might be a little small building here maybe, but nothing on this bend because it's too narrow, so you can't really do anything with that. But this bit in the centre is where I'm going to be doing a lot of work, and a lot of probably test placement of pieces and buildings and things just to see how it's going to work. And I'm going to make up a card kit of my own, which is basically what this is. This is my own card kit that I made, and what I'll probably do is I'll probably I might put it on a video, I'm not sure yet, and just so you can see how simple it is to make. They won't take very long to make. And for the windows, well, if you're a big fan of Metcalfe, then you've probably got a shed load of spares in terms of Metcalfe windows, so you can be using those to get them out. So you can have a go at that. And even if you don't, I'll show you another way of getting around that. Even without Metcalfe windows, you don't necessarily need them. It's just obviously they're better finished. Now I'll show you why I do that and why I say that. I don't know if this is picked up all right. Let me just have it. I don't know if you can quite see it. You can see inadvertently that on this particular window here, you can just about see the inside where the connector is, because the connector that goes into the board for the lighting is actually here, hidden in this building. On this side, on this window here, although it's the same Metcalfe window, it's actually got a black piece of card behind it, so that then hides it even more. So that's why I say you don't necessarily need a Metcalfe window. I mean, obviously if you've got them, you can use them and they'll give a nice effect. It's like with this, these are windows, but they're just hand painted. It's just a black piece of card, and I marked out the lines, and then I've gone over it, and it kind of, from a distance, you kind of think, yeah, you know, it's like a window, stained glass window or whatever, you know, just a glazing panel window, and you know, you wouldn't really know too much about it, and that's what I mean. So even if you don't have them, you can still get around it, because the reason why I say that is because I don't really use Metcalfe buildings on this layout. There isn't that many, even card kits, there isn't a huge amount on here. I've never really, to be truthful with you, been a huge fan of card kits for any description. But in saying that, you know, people do some wonderful things with card kits, and they make them look really, really good. But personally, I just like to, I'd rather use plastic card, and it's a little bit more resistant too, I think, as well. Especially, like I said, that's something else to take into consideration where you're actually building the layout. I mean, obviously if you're building layouts in sheds and lofts and things, it could be susceptible to humidity and things like that, so you've got to take all that into consideration. But anyway, I'm going to sort of love you and leave you at this point, and stay tuned sort of for part 2 of this little series, and I'm going to, on the next part, I'll probably show you me making one of these island platforms, and how I go about doing the dimensions and things like that. So until the next time, it's bye from Beringer. So bye for now.